What are your Shavuot plans?
My plans are to be there at Mount Sinai to receive the Torah anew,
Any facts?
together with Mashiach.
So when Mashiach comes, will we kind of get like a new receiving of the Torah?
Absolutely. Not only when he comes, on Shavuos we get a new receiving of the Torah, and in a small degree that happens every day when we say the blessings on the Torah, and that's what it says. The Torah should always be new in your eyes, like it was just given, because you're a brand new person. The Torah that you learned until now was like, okay, let me backtrack a little bit.
All right, backtrack.
Before the Torah was given, the Jews kept all the laws of the Torah.
That's right.
Even before it was given. Even Erev Tavshilin, which was an injunction of the rabbis, Avraham Avinu did it. The rabbis didn't have to tell him. He just knew that this was the appropriate thing to do. So if that's the case, what was the point of giving the Torah? That's the question. If they already kept the whole Torah before it was given, the fathers of the Jewish people kept the Torah before it was given, well, you could say, well, they didn't keep it exactly the way we do. Hey, let's turn on the air conditioner. Okay, who can reach? Touch the button that turns it on. Rachel, go help her. She's from Brazil, so she needs a little help. There you go. Is it on the lowest low? And the highest fan? Uncle Ivano, should I be your highest fan?
Discuss of that. Boom.
You know, there's a guy that I encounter him every morning. And he says, okay, and now I'm going to tell you a joke. And he tells you terrible jokes. And there's nothing funny about them, but he thinks that that's the appropriate way to behave before davening. He doesn't understand. That's not how you tell a joke. You can't say, okay, now I'm going to tell a joke. You know, that's why people, on the Tzayim, people say, this boner. I mean nothing to him. He just wants another number that he can say he put on filling with so many people. A joke is something humorous that arises out of a whole situation, out of a whole conversation.
I had to organize my binder.
Okay, so if the forefathers, the fathers of the Jewish people kept all the Torah before it was given, what was the point of the giving of the Torah? So you could answer and say, well, they didn't keep the Torah the way we keep it. In other words, it's brought down in Hasidus, I guess in the Medrash too, though I never read the Medrash. I've seen it in Hasidus plenty of times, that when Yaakov Avinu was shepherding the sheep, he was breeding sheep for 20 years. That was what he did for 20 years. He became a sheep breeder. He started out with nothing, and he became tremendously wealthy. He had great success, huge success. How did he do it? Well, he had a bargain with his father-in-law, who was a very stingy, mean person. The ancestor of one of the arch enemies of the Jewish people, in fact, was his father-in-law. Think about it. We, the Jewish people, come from this arch enemy of the Jewish people. He tried to destroy the Jewish people. That's what in the Haggadah we say, Lavan, Avad Avi Arami. The Aramean, the person for Aram, killed my father. Well, the Torah ascribes to him that he killed the Yaakov, even though he didn't kill Yaakov, but he wanted to. Because when a person wants to do an evil deed, Hashem ascribes it to him as if he did it. Oh, here we go.
It's running. I'll bring it up on the screen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Yaakov. And similarly, like we just learned in chapter 16, 17, that when we want to do a good deed, it says Hashem will attach a good thought to a good deed. So he attaches also a bad thought to a sin. So the father-in-law, the evil father-in-law, was constantly changing the terms of their deal. In other words, he wanted his son-in-law to work for him for free. Couldn't get him to work for free, so he made a deal. You know what? You can have all the sheep that are spotted, or you can have all the sheep that have white rings around their ankles. Or you can have all the sheep that have a black splotch on their side. Or you can have all the sheep that have little black dots all over. Okay. And then, but what I'm going to do to make sure that this is a fair deal, I'm going to take all those sheep that have little black dots and all those sheep that have white rings around their ankles and all the sheep that have whatever other conditions I just said. I'm going to take them and go away 3 days journey from you so that you're left with all the sheep that don't have any of these markings on them. Now, any sheep that are born to you that have these markings, you can keep them. Is that a good deal? Yaakov said, okay, it's a deal. Yavan was thrilled. He thought he made the deal of the century. And Yaakov, he was going to get lots of sheep, and Yaakov was going to get nothing. What did Yaakov do? So the story is told in the Torah. He took branches of hazelnut, which have a gray outside bark, and they're white on the inside. And he whittled them, and he whittled designs on these rods. And when the sheep went to drink in the drinking troughs, he would put these rods in front of their eyes, and they would see these designs on the sticks. And then they would bear children with these markings. And he became fabulously rich by doing this. So it says in Hasidus that when Yaakov was whittling the sticks, that's what we do when we put on tefillin. Only he was doing it with sticks. Now there's not, so they didn't, so everything that whatever we accomplished by putting on tefillin, that's what he accomplished with the whittling of the sticks. He was serving God. And he was making revelations of godliness in the world. So that was something that was accomplished when the Torah was given. But there was much, much more than that. Because the other mitzvahs they did, like we read in the Torah, that when the three angels came to Abraham and told him he's going to have a child, it was Pesach. How do we know? Because then they went to Lot to destroy the city of Sodom for its evil. And Lot took them in, and he baked matzahs. So from this we see it was Pesach. And that's why we know that Yitzchak was born a year later on that day on Pesach. The birthday of Yitzchak is on Pesach. So they kept the mitzvahs literally. On Pesach they ate matzahs just like we do. So then why were we commanded to eat matzahs on Pesach? To remember the liberation from Egypt. The Jews hadn't even come to Egypt yet. There wasn't even Jewish people yet. So what's going on? So Abigail, the good questions? Yeah, what's going on? So there's a Medrash that describes all this. It says, Medrash tells a story. There was a king in Rome, and there was a king in Syria. And they were at odds. So they had rules like during the communist regime, you know. If you came from America, you couldn't go to Russia. And if you came from Russia, you couldn't get out. That was before 1990, before the year that the Rebbe said is the year in which Mashiach is revealed. And that year, the communist government collapsed after 70 years. Fell apart. Not by accident. From 1920, which was the Stalkus of the Rebbe Rashab, and the beginning of the leadership of the Friediger Rebbe, until 1990 was 70 years of exile, when Jewish people were deprived of Jewish education. So you get the whole Russian immigration now to America, to Israel, and so on, of families who know nothing, next to nothing, about their own Judaism. It was unfortunately a very successful program, Russian program. to alienate Jews from their heritage and thereby to destroy the Jewish religion.
One thing that I think is hilarious is anytime people destroy us, like we'll alienate them from the religion. Bless you. It hasn't worked in the past, so why do you think it's like going to keep working? It's always their tactic every time. If we take the Jews
Well,
away from the
unfortunately,
books-
it does work, and it works
I mean,
with
here we
very
are.
serious results, with huge, just like the Germans killed millions of Jews. The Russians also did. Only the Germans killed them physically, and the Russians killed them by totally alienating them from their Jewishness, and then they don't have Jewish children. You marry Russians, they don't marry Jews. Thank you, Mrs. Young. Here, I got something very special. We're going to read this, hopefully, before the class is over. Pass it around, please. Here's two for you. Wonderful, wonderful letter here. Here you go. Rachel, for you. And here, take and pass. Okay, so what? So they had this rule that the people from Rome were not allowed to go to Syria. And the people from Syria were not allowed to go to Rome. Now, the word Rome stands for something high. Like Avraham is master of the high wisdom. And Syria is something low. So then came a time when they made peace. Rome and Syria made peace, and all these rules were abolished. So now the people from Rome could go down to Syria, and the people from Syria could come up to Rome. This is what the Medrash says. Good morning, Hannah. Hannah Ruman, take your seat, please. Right over there. You have a whole table to yourself. More people will come to sit with you. Don't feel lonely. Now, what's this Medrash all about? The Medrash is saying to us that before the Torah was given, Rome stands for heaven, and Syria stands for this world, physical world. So you have a spiritual world and a physical world. And there was a decree that things in Rome could not go down, people in Rome could not go to Syria. That's a symbol that things that exist in heaven could not be revealed in this physical world. And people who lived in Syria could not go up to Rome because things of this physical material world could not participate in the spiritual realities that are known and revealed in heaven. And the decree was abolished. Now people from Rome could go to Syria, and people from Syria could go up to Rome. What does that mean? That means when the Torah was given, that's the Medrash. When there's all a parable. That the decree was a decree of life established by God. That things, the heavens were heavens unto the spiritual world, and the physical world was given to man. We say it in Hallel. King David wrote it. Hashemayim Shemaim LaHashem, Va'aratz Nitan Ben Adam. The heavens were for Hashem, and the world was for man. With the giving of the Torah, Hashem abolished that rule. Hashem made the rules, he can abolish them. We cannot. And they're stated in the Torah, and I'm going to tell you something now very important. The Torah is eternal, it doesn't change. It doesn't change. Don't let anybody ever tell you, well, that was for the old days. Times have changed. The Torah, times have changed, but the Torah doesn't change. So what happened when this rule was abolished? And when was it abolished? It was abolished when Hashem gave us the Torah. Because the Torah was spiritual. It was God's wisdom. And there was no place for it in this world. This world was a place for materialistic wisdom. And Hashem abolished this decree so that now the wisdom of God could be revealed in this world. When you light a Shabbos candle, you bring the holiness of God into your home. And the physical things with which we do mitzvahs can now be elevated from their physicalness, from their materialistic reality, and acquire a spiritual reality. Are we broadcasting here, by the way?
Probably. I don't know. It could be muted. I don't know.
Could we? We're not?
No, it is. It is.
It is. We're on? Okay.
The world needs
So
to be
that's what
more-
was accomplished. You see, that's a tremendous, that is the greatest revolution that took place in the history of the world. That from that moment on, the spiritual realities that were in heaven could become revealed in this physical world. And the physical things of this world could be connected with spiritual truths. So that if you write a mezuzah, and it turns out that you need to change it, it got damaged, some rain got on it, it got damaged. What do? You throw it in the garbage? No, it's holy. It became holy, but before that, it wasn't holy. It was just skin of an animal. It was made from a quill of a bird, out of berries and ashes, gallnut berries. But once you put it up, and you say a blessing on it, it becomes holy. You have to bury it, like a Sefer Torah. It became holy, like a human being passed away. You have to bury him. You can't just leave him, throw him in the garbage. It has to be treated with respect and dignity. So this is a fundamental change in the history of the world. And the ability to act upon that change was given to us at Mount Sinai. When Hashem physically came down onto the mountain, and we physically came to the mountain, and it's compared to a marriage. Hashem was the bridegroom, and we are the bride. So the whole Song of Songs, which is a love poem, is not the post about Solomon and one of his wives. It's about Hashem and the Jewish people. And that's why has been learned by mystics and Mekubalim for centuries, because that's what it's really all about. And this is an experience that exists on many, many levels. And each year we go up to a higher level. And each day, so that the extent to which we could be involved with spiritual realities yesterday is no longer enough today. Because we're dealing with infinites. Hashem is infinite, and the Torah is infinite. So we never finished. It keeps going. Higher and higher and higher. And in general terms, this means that just like the Jewish people kept the Torah before it was given. So what was accomplished when the Torah was given? That before the Torah was given, the sticks of Yaakov remained sticks. But after the Torah was given, the tefillin that we write and we use become holy forever. They become imbued, permeated with holiness of the mitzvah that we do. Because Hashem, his will and wisdom are in the mitzvah, and now there's an object that is imbued with the wisdom of Hashem. It's holy. Comes holy structure. And now extending this idea, this means since the Torah has to be new in our eyes every day, new, like today's the first day. So today is the first day after Matan Torah. And this, what we're talking about now in class, has never been talked about before. None of you ever heard it, and I never said it. It's no less inspiring to me than it is to you. Tova. What a good deed you did coming on time today.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's on time, but it is good that she came.
Right. In general, we say that the Torah that we received, that we learned until now, and that was taught in the world until now is like the Torah that the Jews kept before the Torah was given at Mount Sinai. And at Mount Sinai began a new era. So similarly, the Torah that we're learning now, we're learning as a result of Matan Torah Shavuos last year. Becomes Shavuos this year, all this is going to be like before the Torah was given. And what's going to happen on Shavuos is going to be totally new. It's not a renewal, it's a chiddush, it's something totally new. And that means our whole learning and understanding of Torah will be on a completely higher level. If we are intellectually involved with this, then we'll be aware of it. And if we're not intellectually involved with it, so it'll happen even if we're not aware of it. And when you go to a shir, you're going to appreciate that shir differently than you ever appreciated a shir before. And when you do a mitzvah, you're going to do it differently than you ever did it before. So that's why Shavuos is such an important holiday, because it totally transforms us and our relationship with Torah. And since Torah is the source of the world, it totally transforms the world. How is Torah the source of the world? Hello, Leah. How is Torah the source of the world? This should be something you all understand and know. You've heard it before. We'll say it again. Because when the Medrash tells us on the first words of the Torah, in the beginning, Hashem created the heavens and the earth and everything within them. How did this happen? It says Hashem was like an architect and a builder. So before the builder builds, first of all, he consults with the architect and makes a design. Then the builder looks in the design and follows it. My brother, Olav Shalom, whose yahrzeit was yesterday, had a house, and he wanted to put a big picture window in the back wall of his house. And so he got a contractor to put the picture window in the wall and so on. And when he was all finished, he showed it to my brother and said, "You put it in the wrong place." And he had to rebuild part of the wall and move the window over. The builder has to follow the design. So it says Hashem, first of all, designed the world in the Torah, and then he looked in the Torah and created the world according to the design. So the Torah is the source of the whole world. And by learning Torah, we give a permanence to the whole world and a reality and a strength. So it says until, another medrash, until the day that the Torah was given, the world was trembling. What's going to be if the Jews don't accept the Torah? What's going to be? Will it retroactively go out of existence? When Hashem created the world, he made a condition with the Red Sea, for instance, the Sea of Reeds, whatever you call it, that when the Jews are going to leave Egypt, they're going to come to the Sea of Reeds. The Sea of Reeds is commanded a fortiori. Is that how you say it? In advance, they're going to have to split. The waters are going to have to split. Say, okay, guys, we got to split. And what if they wouldn't? Hashem says, no problem. You will just go out of existence like you never were. There won't be a trace of you left. Not a simon. No archaeologist will find anything that ever indicate that you were ever here. So the whole world was like that. What's going to be if the Jewish people don't accept the Torah? We're going to go out of existence, says the Medrash, says clear words. It says the whole world was trembling. That's why when we make Kiddush on Shabbos, we quote from the words of creation, Yom HaShishi, on the sixth day of creation, Hashem gave the world the Shabbos. So the sages ask, why do you say HaShishi? What's the Hey doing there? Every other day it said Yom Shishi, Yom Sheni, Yom Rish. What's that? HaShishi means the day, the sixth day, the unique sixth day when mankind was created, And on the 5th day of Sivan, the Jewish people came to Har Sinai and accepted the Torah that Hashem was going to give them. They said, we accept it, we're going to do it, and we're going to learn it. And it said, until that day, when the Jews said, we're going to accept it, the world was trembling. What if they're not going to accept it? So the fact that the Jews accepted the Torah gave a strength to the Torah. Gave a strength to the world, that the world should continue. So that's what's going to happen on Shavuos. That the decree that separated spirituality from the material world was abolished, and mitzvahs are given to us, and all the mitzvahs that we do are with the physical world. This enabled us. Saramara snuck in without saying hello. Hello, Saramara. Good morning. So we now have physical mitzvahs, commandments, which connect us to the commander. Get this down. Sarah Abigail. A commandment means you have a commander. And when you do a commandment, you connect with your commander. That goes that way. And when we do the commandment with the physical world, that connects the physical world with the commander. So it becomes Hashem's world. When I was in grade 5, we learned about explorers. I wanted to be an explorer like they were.
Well, now you're an explorer.
Marco Polo and Vasco da Gama and Magellan. And there was one other whose name I forget.
Did you get
now.
my answer, Rabbi?
What?
I said now you're an explorer of Torah.
Spiritually, that's right. What were those explorers doing? They were staking claim for king and country. So that the Spanish explorers laid claim for the king of Spain. And Christopher Columbus also was from Spain. And Sir Walter Raleigh laid claim on Virginia for Queen Elizabeth. And when we do a mitzvah, we are staking claim on the physical world and saying, this world belongs to Hashem forever and ever, because we did a mitzvah with it. That's why our life is so exciting. It's like Malka Levana said, we're spiritual explorers.
That's right, we are.
There are still people in this world who want to be explorers, but the frontiers have changed. Like I did an article once about caves. There's a whole group of small, not huge, group of people that explore caves. And their goal is to come into a cave, to a place where no human foot has ever been. And hopefully get back out.
That's the trick. It's easy to get in the cave. It's hard to get out of the cave.
Not so easy to get in either.
Come on, that was a good one. Come on.
Okay, now here, you got these sheets.
3 out of 7.
Anybody didn't get a sheet, there should be around here. This is an extraordinary letter because Shavuos, in addition to what we just spoke about, which is the abolishing of the decree that heaven and earth cannot be connected, and on Shavuos, the Torah was given to us with the mission to connect them, and by connecting them, listen to this carefully, we make the world a place for Hashem. We make the world into Hashem's place. Yes, Ilana from Brazil.
Okay, so the whole Torah was given the Har Sinai, including the inner Torah, including Hasidus. So why it took so long for it to be revealed?
Can't hear you. 10 times louder.
Oh, she said that the whole Torah was given them lots of Torah, even the inside, even like the Hasidus.
Everything, even things that Rabbi Majeski will reveal to you on Shavuos, he hasn't even said yet, we're given at Mount Sinai.
And then she asked, why did it take so long to reveal the Hasidus? Why did it take this long?
Like thousands of years.
To reveal the
This is the
Hasidus.
time that to like Torah.
Right. Excellent question. Classic question. Simply put, it wasn't necessary. It was revealed, but not widespread. It was revealed from Mount Sinai. Before the Torah was given, before Hashem spoke and told us what was in the Torah, he revealed himself. We saw. a simple handmaid from the kitchen staff, right? The cleaning lady saw at Mount Sinai what the biggest prophets never saw. But the cleaning lady remained the cleaning lady. And a prophet had to come to understand it. But it was revealed. So before the given Torah was given, the giver of the Torah was revealed. Now the idea, the giver of the Torah, that's what Hasidus is all about. Hasidus, we learned yesterday and the day before and the day before, everything has a body and a soul. The body of the Torah is what we've lived with for 3,330, almost 35 years. And that was enough. But we came into a new era in the last 500 years, especially in the last 300 years since the Industrial Revolution, and especially in the last 100 years since the technological revolution, which is going faster and faster all the time, that it was necessary to reveal deeper depths of the Torah to remind people about the giver of the Torah. My father-in-law, of blessed memory, he didn't need Hasidus in order to be observant. It was simple and understood in his mind to love God and to have the deepest respect for the sages and for the leaders of his people, like Baba Sali. But especially the Ashkenazim, they lost this simple faith in the years of exile and through the trials and tribulations of their history, whereas the Sephardic Jews had more of a settled continuity of hundreds and thousands of years. The Jews that we have here in Brooklyn from Persia, their families were uprooted after 2,000 years in Persia. They went to Persia with the destruction of the Second Temple 2,000 years ago, and they remained what they were until they came to America and their children went to college and discovered a different world. Now they need Hasidus to remind them where it all came from. My father didn't need to be reminded where it all came from, but his children and grandchildren do. So the Hasidus was continued, Ilana. Excellent question. But it was only taught by great mystical masters like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai and Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, and the great names that are mentioned in the Tanya, because the Alter Rebbe takes us and introduces us to all of them. And he teaches us how to understand their teachings. Until the time of 500 years ago, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria in Sfas made another revolutionary declaration. He said, we've come to a time in history which is foretold in the Parsha about Noach in the Torah, and he showed us exactly where it's foretold. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai told us where it's foretold, that there's going to be a great flood of knowledge coming into the world, represented by the rains from heaven. From heaven, knowledge is going to rain into the world, spiritual knowledge. And from the deep wells are going to open up and flood the world with water, representing knowledge of material things, which foretells the Industrial Revolution and the material changes of life. You know, farmers remained in the same place for hundreds and thousands of years until then, working the farms of their fathers before them. Came the Industrial Revolution, people got more money working in a factory, left the farm, went to work in the factory, and we have cities. The whole sociological change that came along with this, you see. So at this time, 500 years ago, it all started, and Rabbi Yitzchak Luria says, we've come to a time in history when it's a mitzvah to reveal this hidden knowledge, but they didn't have the internet. They didn't even have telephones, let alone cell phones. When I grew up, it cost a fortune to call overseas. Nowadays, it's a plastic. Plastic phone will do it for free if you have WhatsApp. And then another 200 years later came the Baal Shem Tov and starts teaching Hasidus. And his students have to start spreading Hasidus. Well, how did they do it? They didn't have telephones. They didn't have faxes. They didn't have television. They didn't have YouTube. They had to walk from place to place. And every place they went, they would check in at the local shul and say a mimer that they heard from the Rebbe. And they spread the knowledge. Until recently, it became possible in our own time to see it, that you can go online and learn Torah from the dawn till dusk. It's all out there now. What Moshe told the Baal Shem. So that's why it took so long, because we didn't have the means of spreading it. Simple. Okay, there's a whole class gone. So the main thing is this should, at least, just like since Pesach, we've been counting the days, getting ready. And if we weren't actually getting ready, at least in the back of our minds, we knew that we're going to get to the end of this counting and it's going to be a big day. And not only that, when we came into the middle wilderness of Sinai, and there was the mountain in front of us. We didn't see it with our physical eyes, but our soul saw it. Our neshama saw it. And it still wasn't enough. Then Hashem said, yesterday, I am making you a new nation. Whoa! I'm making you a nation of priests. Mamleches koyanim. V'goy kodesh. I'm making you a holy nation that you are going to reveal holiness that's in the world. Because the world is created by Hashem, you're going to reveal that the world is holy. You're going to reveal that people are holy. You're going to reveal that goodness is holy. I'm making you a holy people. You're going to teach holiness to the world. Comes along the Rebbe and says we have to teach the nations of the world the 7 laws of Noach. We have to teach the world to do a moment of silence so we won't get shootings in the supermarkets. Rebbe said it clear. Some people listened. More people still have to listen. We have to spread the word. That's our job. That's our mission. And it still wasn't enough. We still have to say Nasim and Nishma. We want, yes, Hashem, we want to accept the Torah. And that still wasn't enough. We had to set boundaries because our desire to get the Torah might have been overwhelming. We might have gone up on the mountain. We're not allowed. You're not allowed just to walk into the base of Mikdash. You're not ready. You're not holy enough. You'll die. Like happened to the two elder sons of Aaron. On the day that the Mishkan was set up, they went in to burn incense and they died. You're not allowed to play around with such holy power. So Hashem said, set up boundaries. Well, that made people even more excited, knowing that they could only go so far, but there was much, much more. And then finally the Torah was given. So we're still on the way to get ready to Mount Torah, and it's more and more exciting every day. So it should be very exciting for all of us when we finally get there, which is going to be Motzi Shabbos and Sunday. And it should be in a manner of relaxation and peacefulness, because Shabbos is given for relaxation and peacefulness. Came Shabbos into the world, and peacefulness came into the world. And from Shabbos, we're going into Matan Torah, which Matan Torah was given on Shabbos. Everybody agrees. They disagree. Was it the 6th or 7th of Sivan? Was it the 7th of Sivan? But everybody agrees it was Shabbos. So Torah is connected with Shabbos, and we're going to go from Shabbos into Shavuos. And on Shavuos, we got tremendous things. We have Moshe Rabbeinu. He's going to give us the Torah, and that's going to give us the power to bring Moshiach. And we have David HaMelech, his yard site is on Shavuos. How do you like that? So we've got him working together with us. And we've got Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, his yard site is also on Shavuos. And his teachings are going to bring Moshiach. So we have Moshe Rabbeinu, whose Torah is going to help us to enable us to bring Moshiach. And David HaMelech, who's the ancestor of Moshiach. And Rabbi Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, whose teachings will bring Moshiach. Take Moshe, M, and Yisrael Yud, and David is Daled. Miyad, we want it now. Miyad means right now in Hebrew. Miyad means right now. How do you like them apples? Love it. Okay, that's it. Sarah Abigail is here, Baruch Hashem. Liba, Rahmana Liba boy. Malka Levana, with both her names, is here. Ariel Diamond. Mushka, you online? No. Chana Kuftunenko. Glad to have you, Chana. Chava didn't make it. Chaya Menashe, no. Sarah Mora, yes. Tova, mistress of the good name. Rachel O'Connor, Leah Rappaport from Brazil, Chana Ruman,